Joining me now, Brandom Gengelbach. He is the Greater Bentonville Regional, I'm sorry, the Greater Bentonville Area Chamber of Commerce President and CEO. I corrected myself there, Brandom.
That's a huge, between the name of the organization and my name, it's a lot to ask.
Thank you for being with us. I very much appreciate you. You were on an economic development panel with some other Northwest Arkansas people in El Dorado, Arkansas, a little over a week ago. That's about as far from Bentonville as you can get in Arkansas. Tell everybody what you were doing there.
So there was a delegation from Northwest Arkansas that went with the university to El Dorado to learn a little bit about what's going on in South Arkansas, specifically on the lithium side of things and the opportunity that that presents for Southern Arkansas from an economic standpoint. There also was, I think, intentionality on bringing leaders, not only from the university, from the business school, from the School of Engineering, but economic development practitioners, businessmen, businesswomen, to come and share a little bit about some of the best practices that's going on in our region. But really, more importantly, I think to talk about opportunities to partner together to not only help South Arkansas, help Northwest Arkansas, but to come together to help the state as it relates to economic development and prosperity. So I think we're going to do that a few times, getting these groups together. And so this was the first of a couple of upcoming events that the university has planned.
Yeah, as you mentioned, this was the University of Arkansas, which is a statewide higher education institution doing a lot more outreach than maybe it's done in the past, with stretching to a corner of the state that doesn't see as much from the University of Arkansas flagship campus there. You talked a lot about regionalism on the panel. You talked about partnerships. You talked about diplomacy. You talked about compromise. Why are those things important for community building and economic development?
Well, I think for me, it has been the difference between, success and just, I wouldn't say not success, but it's a differentiator from good to great, let's say. I've been fortunate to be in really good communities, but the great communities that I've been in have this commonality of regionalism and the ability to work together. And my comment really, the biggest comment that I wanted to provide to the audience was that there's a difference between saying the word regionalism, saying the word collaboration, and actually demonstrating that. And there's a skill set that's involved in that. And so I think anybody and everybody will talk about the importance of team and working together. But it takes a skill set to be able to convene and bring people together to try to put the common interest of the group ahead of your personal interest or the interest of your organization. And as I'm new in my role, so I moved to Bentonville 7 months ago from Texas. As we started talking and as I started learning more about Arkansas, especially South Arkansas, there really was, I think, a feeling of neglect that you've mentioned it before. The university doesn't always do the outreach that it could do through the rest of the state, and there's a perception with that. And I think that really was something the university took to heart, specifically the School of Engineering, which is how this trip came about. And so when you start talking about that, you start really learning and understanding that at the core, to me, for Arkansas to grow and be successful, all of us need to be working together as a community and being able to partner together to further the interest of the whole state, not just Northwest Arkansas or Little Rock, which seem to be sort of the common points in conversation, where South Arkansas and Northeast Arkansas that can feel maybe a bit neglected from the conversation.
Yeah. want to give some props on the South Arkansas end too. Speaker of the House Matthew Shepard, State Senator Matt Stone, big instigators of doing that too, along with Dean Needy up there at the University of Arkansas College of Engineering. You come into Bentonville, as you mentioned, and into Northwest Arkansas, having been in some other places around the country. You mentioned Texas. I know you've had some other stops as well. You bring a fresh set of eyes to what you see in Bentonville and Northwest Arkansas. Give me a little bit of what you see in terms of strength. Tell me a little bit about what you see in terms of weakness or areas for improvement, we might say.
Yeah, certainly. I think we are blessed to be able to have great organizations and great foundations and families that are here in the region who really have made it a goal to be able to make Northwest Arkansas, Bentonville, a place for individuals to come and to work and to live and to play, recognizing that we're not necessarily a major city, a major stop that people would think of from a professional standpoint and growing and developing their career. But if we can be a community that is popular, that is a place people want to be and want to stay, then we're going to be successful as a community. And so certainly the chamber, all the businesses and individuals here, we get the blessing of that work that's being done to enhance the community. So it's a community a bit like a unicorn, I describe to people. There's really nothing like it. This is the first place of any city I've lived where our kids have gone to public school. Public school wasn't an option in some of the cities that I've lived in before this. It just the quality was not there. Um, it's a place that has amazing art and museums. It's got amazing job market. Pretty much any consumer brand you want to work with is here. There's outdoor recreation and cycling, which is a big reason why my family and I were even interested in the job. It's got amazing restaurants and the ability, as my wife said, it's a small town that feels like a big city. So um, to me, being able to have access to all those things in a small town environment where it's very authentic helps separate Bentonville and Northwest Arkansas from other places in the country. So really feel fortunate to be here, and I've enjoyed getting the lay of the land and meeting folks and figuring out what we can be doing to grow and develop our economy and enhance it in greater ways.
I'm old
And that
enough
would
to.
lead to I'll keep talking. I mean, you asked about the weaknesses. I got to talk about the weaknesses, right?
I was going to ask you what's missing. Yes.
Yeah. So, I wouldn't be a chamber person if I have to be open and honest and talk through some of those I would call them opportunities. So, the biggest challenge for us to address as a chamber is the ability to bring together locals and small businesses with transplants and new companies and entrepreneurs to forge the path ahead. We had our annual meeting where we get together all our members, business leaders, community leaders, and the theme was together every step of the way. We, especially me as the new person, I am standing on the shoulders of the really talented men and women before me in the business community, as elected officials. We are where we are because of these wonderful people. And I think it's easy in high growth communities for those individuals to feel lost or overlooked. They were here and doing things and promoting the community and helping when no one else was. And now all the sexiness of new companies, new people, entrepreneurs come in. And when you talk about future growth and addressing the challenges that come with growth, you cannot have an us versus them mentality. And I've lived in communities and worked in communities that are high growth, and that's what happens. You have locals versus transplants. And when you're trying to get initiatives off the ground or to get ballots or to get votes on a ballot initiative, you have to have everyone at the table. So that is what we run the risk of. And that's why we have a really big focus on ensuring that we tell our businesses, everyone, we recognize you, we see you, you're important, and we need you at the table. Um, that's probably the biggest issue. The second issue I would say is with any community that has a large employer, and we have Walmart, it can be easy to be over leveraged in one area, and you want to be able to have an economy that can weather different economic cycles and storms. And so my role, and really part of the interest in the job, was, I think, the community and the business leaders being very transparent that we need to be proactive in looking at other areas to grow and develop from an economy, from an economic development standpoint. We don't want to just watch and look and see the growth that happens as a result of Walmart or consumer product groups or Tyson or JB Hunt. We want to be able to put ourselves in the driver's seat to find other businesses that would make sense to be here to round out the economy and make us truly competitive to weather those different economic cycles. So those are two opportunities for us.
I am old enough, Brandom, to remember when going to Bentonville was not something that you wanted to do. So it was a sleepy little backwater, and you were like, oh my gosh, I have to go to Bentonville on business today. I'm dreading it, sort of thing. Now, Fayetteville was a different story because it was the college town with a lot of activities to do. Now the whole region's just bustling. It's a great place to be. I wish you the best of luck in your role here at Bentonville, and thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Absolutely. Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.